what the centre unveiled today. It has unveiled the Agnipath scheme, a radical recruitment plan for armed forces aimed at cutting down salary and pension bills and freeing up funds for urgent procurement of weapons. Announcing the move, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said it was a historic decision. The chiefs of all the three services, Army, Navy and the Air Force, were present for the launch. Under the scheme, about 45,000 people between the age of 17.5 years and 21 years will be inducted into the services for a 4-year tenure. The recruitments will begin within the next 90 days and the first batch will be ready by the July of 2023. My colleague Vishnu Shom with all the details.
They're immediately going to start recruiting what they call Agniveers. Then we're going to have non-officers, in other words, Jawans and their equivalent in the Navy and the Air Force join for a period of 4 years. 75% of them would exit the armed forces after 4 years. The remaining 25% would, on the basis of merit, continue to remain in the armed forces. What the government says is that, they want a more youthful, a younger profile of the soldiers that they have. But I think the larger issue over here is that this has been done because 50% of the defense budget goes towards revenue and pension expenditures. So salaries plus pension expenditures presently account for more than 50% of India's overall defense budget. And that's completely untenable because the amount of money or funds that you have left for capital expenses, in other words, the acquisition of new weapons and new weapon systems, is minuscule. And even within that capital budget, which remains, you've already committed some funds on an annual basis to existing programs on which you're acquiring weapons. I just need to go on with this point a little bit more. This is important. The capital budget, in other words, the budget which exists for acquiring new weaponry, is partly committed already, because when you sign on for a defense deal, you don't pay the entire amount at once, you pay it over a period of time. So the defense budget this year and the small amount which is left for capital expense is already committed partly towards previous deals which have been signed. So where is the balance that is actually left for new acquisitions should the armed forces need them? The amount is actually quite small. But the amount of money which the armed forces actually need, and I'm talking about lakhs of crores, to have the ability to procure weaponry to take on China and Pakistan simultaneously, is what this scheme would eventually guarantee. Now that's the broader goal, and to that end the goal is laudable. But there are many who suggest that this is not the best way of acquiring the additional funds. There is a reason why India's armed forces are manpower intensive. That is because we've got a very large frontier. It needs more than 4 years to train up a fully trained Jawan. Those are a couple of points which have been mentioned. But the government says that everybody will be suitably trained, even in the technical trades. In other words, engineering and other services in the Air Force and the Navy. So it's not that people who leave or people who join for a period of 4 years would be incapable of handling the tasks assigned to them. And given the method that they have chosen to recruit even technical people from ITIs, for example, there will not be that technical shortfall. So they worked out a plan where they believe, bottom line, the capability of the Indian Armed Forces will remain, money will be saved. Though in a direct question to him, which I posed to the Defence Minister, how much money would be coming in, he said that, look, whatever money is required for the armed forces will be given. He didn't answer a very specific question which I asked him.